Hi, welcome back. So this is week 2 of the Grit Gym Nutrition course. If you haven't watched week 1, make sure you go back and watch that because these concepts are going to build on each other. So let's start with a concept that I think is a really awesome tool to use. Add in the good stuff, don't stress about taking away the bad. We are wired so that if you tell yourself you're not allowed to eat X anymore, all you're going to think about is X. We obsess over it. So you're going to find a lot more success adding things into your diet. So think about what you want to eat for your meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, what kind of snacks you should have on hand. We're going to, I guess I will tell you now, but in your homework, we're going to talk about adding in 1 serving of vegetables to each meal. So make sure you're getting your protein with each meal. Make sure you're getting your vegetables with each meal. Make sure that you're, getting the variety of micronutrients that are going to nourish your body. Focus on getting those and adding those in. Don't focus on taking away the things that you love to eat because you're just going to feel deprived. It's okay to eat the things that you love. You probably shouldn't gorge or binge on it, but it's okay. We're talking about the rest of your life here. It's okay to have a few cookies if that's what you want. And if you tell yourself you're never going to have cookies ever again, you're going to obsess over it. And there's no reason to do that. This is forever we're talking about. So go ahead and focus on adding in those good things. Okay, let's talk about removing deficiencies. So these are what the most common deficiencies we see at Grit Gym are. So number 1, we talked about last week, water. No matter how great your diet is, no matter how much exercise you do, if you aren't hydrated, you're going to run into the problem where you're not going to get the results you want. You need to be properly hydrated for your body to function optimally. All right, number 2. So vitamins and minerals. Over here on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see a chart. So the percentage of the U.S. population not meeting the RDA, which is the recommended daily allowance. So this is the minimum you're supposed to be intaking to function optimally, according to the government. So those are people not meeting the bare minimum. So the fix to that would be to eat more foods rich in vitamins and minerals. Protein, another deficiency we see, you want to eat more protein-rich foods to fix that, and essential fatty acids. And fish oil would be the fix to that. So the thing with this, when it comes to deficiencies, you can pay a lot of money, right? You can pay tons of money doing all these lab tests, but I can tell you right now that these 4 things are almost always the problem. So everybody can benefit from adding more of this to their diet. Drinking more, eating more vitamin and mineral rich foods, eating more protein, and start taking a fish oil supplement. That's easy, and you don't have to do any tests. And it's going to fix a lot of problems. So let's talk about step 2, adjusting portion size and macronutrient breakdown. So instead of counting calories and stressing out about managing, getting a scale or counting calories or getting obsessive, at Grit Gym, we use our hands as an estimation tool for how much food you eat. Now, the good thing about this is, depending on your size, your hands are going to be different sizes. So, like if you look at my hand size or you look at Adam's, they're going to be completely different. So we can adjust our portion size accordingly. So a serving of protein is 1 palm size. So when I say a palm, you can see on that diagram, 1 palm size is a serving of protein. A serving of vegetables is your fist. A cupped hand, so like what you could scoop up in your hand, is going to be a serving of carbs, and your thumb is going to be a serving of fats. Okay, for the sake of clarity, let's talk about what each category entails. So protein. Your protein is going to be your meat, your eggs, your beans, your legumes. I will say that if you're eating a vegan diet, those beans and legumes are going to be really important for a protein source. If you are not a vegan, beans and legumes should probably be counted as carbohydrates. So vegetables are going to be anything that's a non-starchy vegetable. Spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, cauliflower, all of those things. A carbohydrate, so that's going to be your beans and legumes, nuts, grains, carrots, corn, potatoes, all of those things. Fats are going to be egg yolks, nuts, olives, avocado, butter, any of those cooking oils. Those are going to be your fats. So there's some things worth noting that we should talk about here. This is not an exhaustive list. I just wanted to give examples of what falls into each category. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. Starchy versus non-starchy vegetables. So I touched on it really quick, but things like carrots and corn and potatoes, a lot of us think of those as vegetables, but they're starchy vegetables. And then non-starchy vegetables are going to be like your leafy greens, your kale, your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, your cauliflower. The thing to keep in mind is that just because something, I know carbs get a bad rap, but just because something's a carbohydrate doesn't make it good or bad for you. White bread is pretty junky, right? But like a sweet potato, it's filled with vitamins and lots of awesome stuff to fuel your body. So when you're choosing these sources of carbohydrates, that getting a really nutrient dense version of a carbohydrate is going to be awesome. And same with anything really on this list, right? Like a fat, like you could eat really garbage canola oil, or you could have, olives. Like obviously eating olives is going to be a better choice, or even, the regular vegetables, iceberg lettuce or broccoli. Broccoli is obviously a better choice. You're going to look at your food and you want to get the most bang for your buck. You want to get the most nutrition per calorie possible. Overlap between categories. So you're going to see some stars on there. We talked about the beans and legumes. Nuts are another one. It could be a carbohydrate. It could be a fat source. We talked about these vegetables. There's overlap here. This is an exact science, and it doesn't need to be an exact science because this isn't something you're going to manage down to the itty-bitty little detail for your whole life. So these are general guidelines. You don't need to stress. Do your best and just use the easy to follow hand guidelines. We use your hand because it's easy. Don't make this hard. Macronutrients versus micronutrients. I guess I keep getting ahead of myself, but those are the hand size things. These are macronutrients. Protein, carbohydrates, these are all macronutrients. The micronutrients are what is nourishing your body, those vitamins and minerals that are inside each of those foods. So there are things that will fit into your macronutrient guidelines that are very micronutrient poor. So like we talked about before, do you need to eat better or do you need to eat less? That better is what we're looking for. So let's talk about what your plate should look like. Men are going to eat 2 palm-sized portions of protein and women are going to eat 1. And this is a trend that's going to follow through all of these things, but men get 2 portion sizes and women get 1. And this is just a starting place. We'll talk about that more in a second. But to start, this is where we start everybody. And then we can adjust. But to start with, men get 2 palm-sized portions of protein and women get 1. Vegetables, men eat 2 fist-sized portions, women get 1. Carbohydrates, men get 2 cupped palm sizes, women get 1. And fats, men get 2 thumb sizes and women get 1. So adjusting for you. Like I said, this is just a starting place. So you might need more food because you're larger in stature, or you're starving between meals, or you're super active. You know, the athletes we train, like if you are super active, you're going to need more calories. If you're trying to gain muscle, you're going to want more calories. And if you aren't getting the muscle gain results you want, even though you're following the portion guidelines, you're going to want to eat more. If you need to eat less, it could be because you're a smaller stature, you're feeling too full. If you eat more frequently throughout the day, you're not very active. You know, if you sit at a desk all day and then you don't work out or go to the gym, you're going to need less food than someone who does go burn off all those calories. If you're trying to lose weight, or you aren't getting the weight loss results you want. So I think that we talked about this last week, but do you need to eat more, or do you need to eat better, or do you need to eat less? You know, I think that if weight loss is your goal, starting with these portion guidelines and just eating better is a good place to start. If you're not getting the results you want, then you can start adjusting. Same thing with the muscle gain. If you're trying to gain muscle, you might need more food. But still, you're talking about those quality micronutrient dense foods. You know, so like carbohydrates are going to be probably the easiest place to adjust. So if you are trying to gain muscle, you're going to add in a little bit more carbohydrates. And if you are trying to lose fat as your primary goal, you're going to need a little less carbohydrates probably. But like I said, make sure, like, eating carrots is going to beat white bread every time. Eating sweet potatoes is going to beat, you know, eating Captain Crunch. Like, make sure your body is getting fueled, regardless of how we need to adjust this. But I think that this is a really good place to start in taking stock in where you are, and start tracking that so then you can adjust accordingly. All right. There's kind of a lot of information all at once. But your homework. So you're going to continue journaling just like you've been. You're going to continue to drink half your body weight in ounces a day outside of meals and workouts. You're also going to begin eating 1 serving of vegetables with every meal. And you're going to begin using your portion guidelines. I think that, like I said, just start with what the baseline is, and then we can always adjust. Focus on eating better quality food and following the portion guidelines, and let's see where that takes you. And I will see you guys next week.